man, are there some smoking hot deals out there right now on these Model 3s. I guess what I'm still a little confused at is why will there not be a tax credit on the long range? Because my understanding is that uses the same cells, the 2170s from Panasonic, as the what's in my wife's Model Y. So I do want to go in and just talk to the guys at Mount Kisco. I'm not going to film inside there. I tend not to do that, but I'm going to chat with them, pick their brains, see what the state of the market is like, and present that to you. I'm thinking this is a great time to pounce on a Model 3. I'm tempted to get one, but the fact is, I've already laid my chips on the table. I've got my Model X, but man, I just love a good deal. And this, my friends, is an amazing deal right now.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Out of Spec Dave, where I just wanted to give a brief update about what's going on with my car situation. And I also want to talk a bit about the deals right now that are out at Tesla, specifically on the Model 3s. And I kind of want to share that with you. So let me start by talking about the Model X, okay? The Model X, it made its journey out to Fort Collins, Colorado, beautifully. I've used a vendor about 4 or 5 times now who's done a great job for me. I'm thinking about doing a video on what does it take to ship a car? How does that whole industry work? I did a poll. I think some of you who follow me on Twitter saw that. I said, should I rent a Kia EV6 or a Chevy Bolt? This is 2 cars that my local Hertz dealer had for cheap. I mean, 35 bucks a day or something like that. So I rented an EV6. I got a red one, which was cool. And I got, it has black interior, and I've been doing extensive testing and driving and research on that vehicle this whole weekend. So there'll be a lot of good content coming out on the EV6. It's Sunday night now. Tomorrow, Monday, I'm going to swap it out for the Bolt. 76% of you said, get the EV6 and test that out. But you know what? 24% of you said, hey, check out the Bolt. And then finally, you know, I am just blown away with how some of the deals are going with Tesla right now. And that's going to be the detailed video here today. You know, I went up to Mount Kisco just to kind of ask the guys, how are things going? They were super busy and, you know, delivering all kinds of cars. I'll get into the numbers in this video.
Here it is, December 17th, and there is going to be a big change in the tax credits for both the long range and the rear wheel drive Model 3s that, if you're not aware of, you should be, and you may want to act. I don't think there's going to be a better time to purchase a Model 3 first generation, let's call it, not the refresh. If you're looking for the refresh Model 3, it's beautiful. I would say don't hesitate to wait. But if you need a really good, reliable, cost-efficient way of getting around, as I adjust my cameras here a little bit, this Model 3, this current generation of the Model 3, especially the cheap one, is such a smoking hot deal. But it's only going to be smoking hot for the next, 14 days, next 2 weeks. So I know there's been a lot of videos about this, but I really want to make a point here that the deals on these Model 3s, they're never going to be as good as this, I don't believe, unless the tax laws change again. So let me explain what's going on. Basically, a lot of people know that Tesla capped out on their $200,000, $7,500 federal tax credits many years ago. And it got sort of halved and then halved again, and then when you bought a Tesla, you didn't get a tax credit. And then starting last year, I believe it was last year, all of a sudden, certain cars qualified for the EV tax credit with stipulations. Car had to be made in the US, certain percentage of the battery packs had to be made, or the components that are in the car had to be made in the US, and so on. And you know, because Tesla is a U.S. manufacturer that manufactures a lot of cars in Fremont or in Austin, Texas, a lot of their cars qualified. And so, as a matter of fact, I bought 2 Model 3 rear-wheel drives this year, and any car that is under $50,000 retail without delivery and without without the 250 charge, and without, you know, things like FSD or even enhanced, as long as you're spending under 50 grand, you got the full $7,500 federal tax credit. And so that was a great deal. However, rumor has it, oh, and by the way, if you're buying an SUV, anything under 80,000, which both the Model X and the Model Y qualify for. It all depends on your income level as well. Let me state that you either have to make 150,000 or less as a single filer, or 300,000 or less as joint filer. So if you qualify for that, then you will get, if you buy cars that qualify, you'll get that 7,500. So technically, the cars that we bought this year qualify for $7,500 federal tax credit times 3, because Kathy's Model Y would qualify, definitely under 80,000. The Model X that I bought, the original one that I had on order, would have qualified, but we ended up going for the plaid with the white seats, and you know, the car I had on order was a 79,990 car. You got to love how Tesla just sort of, you know, they priced the car at $10 less than the 80,000. In fact, one of the Cybertruck versions is priced there as well. So pretty slick of Tesla being aware of what can drive their cars. But the sort of sad fact is that I guess a certain percentage of the battery packs that are in both the long range and the rear wheel drive. Now, I don't understand why the long range is being disqualified, but Tesla came out about 2 weeks ago and said, look, if you're going to buy a Model 3, don't wait till next year, because the original guidance was that it might still be there, or it might be cut in half. But it turns out now Tesla is saying you're not going to get the full $7,500 federal tax credit next year on either the Model 3 rear-wheel drive or the long range. And I want to go and see what does that mean for sales and deliveries at Tesla Mount Kisco, because I can only imagine they must be super busy. Let's put this into perspective. I was at Mohegan Sun last weekend. They have plenty of inventory here in Mount Kisco of Model 3 rear-wheel drives with no options. Just talk the cheap one. Get the cheap one. Midnight Silver Metallic is the standard color paint. Get the black seats. Don't get any options. The car is like $38,900, and they were given $3,500 off or $3,300 off one particular model that I saw. So you could buy that car for, I think it was $35,400, $35,300, or $35,400. Then you got to pay tax on that full amount. And depending on the state you live in, so in the state I live in, Connecticut, you get $2,250 right off the hood. So that $35,400 then becomes $33,200. All right, now you have to pay tax on the full $35,400. That brings it up to, I don't know, whatever it is. Let's call it 6.35%. I think it's maybe around, with delivery, $1,390 and $250. It's probably around $39,800. Okay, then from that, you can subtract, because on your next year's tax return, you could subtract $7,500 from that. And because you got the $2,250 off the price of the car, I don't know, do the math. But when I did the math, you could buy a brand new Model 3 if you take delivery this year. If you look at it from, you know, from end to end, meaning after you collect your refund from your federal tax credit when you file your taxes in whatever March or April, under 30 grand in this state. In some states, I believe in Colorado and California, I may be wrong, but the state tax incentives are so much higher. I saw a recent tweet where someone said you could buy a Model 3 for $22,900. Now, of course, you'd have to pay tax on that as well. Sales tax in New Jersey on EVs doesn't exist. So you got to look at your own situation. But Man, are there some smoking hot deals out there right now on these Model 3s. All right, so let's go inside and check out what's happening here at Tesla today, because man, I'll tell you what, with the pricing on the Model 3s, I can only imagine they're super busy. It's raining like crazy out. The only good news is it's December 17th. Oh, hey, look at this. Oh yeah, they're busy here. There's a whole new truckload coming in. But you know, like I was saying, the good news is it's December 17th, and even though it's raining, it's 52 degrees out. The showroom looks pretty busy. The delivery lot looks pretty busy. Let's go check this out and see what's going on. I specifically want to find out what's happening with the long-range Model 3 from a tax incentive or tax credit purpose. Look what we have here. It's a Model X. Oh yeah, beautiful. This might have been my car that I passed on. Black interior. Let's see. I don't know if it's a 5-seater. Oh no, it's a plaid. It's a plaid, so it's a 6-seater. But lots of Model 3s here. Look at this. Lots of Model 3s. All lined up, ready to go. Oh yeah. Couple of Model Ys. But yeah, they're rocking and rolling here today. They did 105 yesterday, and it looks like about 85 today. So yeah, listen, get your Model 3s. And keeping in mind, listen, we've got the new one coming out, obviously, the refresh, which is in a lot of ways a better car, but it's going to be a lot more money. You're not going to get $4 grand off. What I just learned inside is that the cheapest Model 3, Midnight Silver Black, I'm very tempted to get one. It's $4,000 off. It's $35,090 plus $1,390 plus $250. And if you qualify, federal tax credit $7,500. And then here in Connecticut, well, I'm in New York State, but I live in Connecticut, it's another $2,250. I think it's a very low to no risk transaction to get one of these Model 3s. And I could pull the trigger on it, but I'm probably not going to, just because I want to go down a different path of, if Kyle does keep my Model X for, you know, 3 months or so, I don't know that I want to buy a Model 3 just for 3 months and flip it, but I may want to buy a used, is what I'm thinking, a pre-owned car for under 10 grand. And maybe I'll just keep that down in Florida as an extra car. And I think it'll be helpful for people to see what it's like. What can you get from a used standpoint for 10 grand or under? Definitely under 15 grand, you can get some real good stuff. So anyway, signing off here from Tesla, Mount Kisco. They are hopping. Rainy day. Everybody's inside because it's raining out here. I'm the only crazy one. We'll catch you on the next one. It's almost Christmas time.